I'm Jen.
And I'm Tamsin.
And we were asked some questions at Virtual Winter Wovenland, and we've actually got together to answer them.
We have. So first question today is from Kate, and Kate said, is there any chance of some sneak photos of the new blanket releases?
We are still waiting for the blankets. We've spoken to the mill and they are in the hemming stage, so hopefully not too long, but we don't have a date for them. As soon as they're here, we will let you know.
Okay.
Okay. Right, Andrea says, silly question maybe, but any of the Settee harvest left?
There aren't any Settee harvest left, but we've got a few Settee star map left. They are the same weft, so if you like the wrapping qualities of the Settee harvest, which I think you say your shoulders really prefer thicker wraps, then we can absolutely do that with the Settee star map. And we've also got some other thicker wraps coming for release in December.
Oh yes.
So, next question from Charlotte is, next question from Kate, is, have you had any big disagreements over colours and designs where one of you thought something would be awesome but the other one was dead against it? How do you resolve things like that?
That's sort of part of the way we work.
We do.
Tamsin likes one end of the colour spectrum, I like the opposite end, and we start from these two places and we work together.
We do, and I think that when we are working on colourways, it's when the magic really happens between us. We really bounce off each other and we learn from each other about how things work.
We both get pushed out of our comfort zones,
we do.
And so it's sort of a bit like a dance. We know where each of us will start, and I'll say, shall we do something brown? And Tamsin will go, oh no, do something purple. And I go, and then eventually we this big conversation happens, and
we get excited.
Yeah, we do.
It's really good fun, and
it is.
We do have we like each other's opposite end of the spectrumness. We respect that in each other, and it interests us. And I think that if we were both coming from the same place all the time, we'd be really boring.
It challenges us, doesn't it?
It does.
It's always good fun, and we never know where it's going to end. When we start off planning, it's always somewhere different, isn't it?
It keeps things interesting, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
We don't get bored.
Yeah, designs tend to be less controversial. Yeah. We have very similar. It all just works.
It does. It's good. It's really good.
So go on. Charlotte says, will there be a Winter Hill in either of the purples?
And actually, we probably answered you, Charlotte, just a few minutes ago in our live broadcast. We have some Winter Hill scarves coming, Kaluna Callisto Winter Hill scarves. We didn't have enough warp left to weave any Winter Hill full-size wraps, but we knew that there was a liking for Winter Hill, and we think Winter Hill looks great on scarves, so we made some Winter Hill scarves. Yeah. So they'll be coming in early December with the December releases.
Yes. Okay.
And
there we are.
So Kate has asked, are there any more tentacular, spectacular colourways to come?
We haven't got any on the loom at the moment, but it just didn't have its chance in the last warp. It's something that will most likely pop up in the next planning.
Yeah, we'll certainly consider it when we're working out what we're going to do.
We like it, don't we?
So if there's any particular colourway you fancy of tentacular, spectacular, let us know, because we're always we're looking for new ideas.
And we do take people's suggestions into consideration. When we sit there with all our yarn swatches, we say, oh, do you remember they really like the idea of this? And then, it all comes into play.
So do tell us.
Okay, Victoria Herman says, will we ever see a large-scale kaleidoscope again? That's the first bit of the question.
The answer to that is, I don't see why not. I think personally we prefer the smaller scale when we wove both of them, so that's what we've stuck to. But again, if there's demand for the larger scale, just tell us. And obviously you've told us that, Victoria, in that question. Yes. So if anybody else tells us, again, we'll certainly take it into consideration.
Yeah, there's no reason why not, is there? We just have to make a choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the next warp after the ones that have been previewed at Winter Wovenland?
So next on, definitely confirmed, is an obsidian warp. Obsidian is popular, it goes with lots of weft colours, and so yeah, we're going to have a couple of things on there. And then after that, we've got some ideas, some really good ideas.
We have.
And we're still in the planning stage of that, so we're not saying too much too soon.
No, exactly. And also we have to be planning for months and months ahead. So whatever new warp is sort of the things that probably won't get released for a long time yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there going to be a thicker wool vortex, says Mira?
Well, not yet, but absolutely never say never. I like thick wool and I like vortex, so I'll be certainly participating for that one at some point. I certainly will do.
And Becky asks, what's the story behind the names SETI and Sentinel? She assumes it's to do with the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, and does that mean we're astronomy nerds like she is? Really. I was tinkering with the idea of doing a degree in astrophysics before I'd stuck to architecture, because I found that absolutely fascinating. The SETI is absolutely the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The name came up when I was ironing that wrap. That wrap came through and I was ironing it, and to me the striations in the weft just looked like something scanning the skies, and it just, the name SETI was like, it had to be called that. Yeah. Sentinel was very much related to SETI in that we were weaving SETI and we ran out of a particular weft thread. As you do.
As you do. And so I went on the SETI website, the actual SETI website, and was kind of poking around there, seeing if I could find something that was related and was interesting. And the name Sentinel popped up as another programme they were doing, an aspect of the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It was Sentinel is somebody who sits and watches, so it's all related in with that. And I'm guessing that they probably called it that as a reference to 2001, but my knowledge of 2001 is probably not as good as it could be. I've watched it at some point in the past. Yeah. But yeah, we like astronomy and find it really interesting. And I think that as Firespiral, we are nerds. So we're geeks. So. We're proud to champion the that's all right. The interesting geek woman. Yeah. There we are. Nicole. So Nicole has asked, who designs? Do you work collaboratively, or are some designs mainly Jen or Tamsin, and if so, which?
We do completely work collaboratively, and I don't think any design has been just one of us. But we do either take a lead on a particular design, or one of us has an idea that we pass to the other and say, do this, and we think this would be perfect for you, or some go back and forth where we each work kind of chipping away at it until we get to the right point. So some of our earliest, I can remember you coming over here when we first started the business, and we each had a sketchbook full of ideas, and some of them just kind of overlapped perfectly, and some of them we both went, oh, that one, that one. So Gossamer is definitely Tamsin's. She showed me that on a park bench in Mossbank Park. She unrolled this thing. And I hate spiders. And I went, oh, that's beautiful. Yes. And so that was you.
Yeah, and Seafoam was your baby.
Yes, it was.
Star Map was really very much a collaboration.
It was, I'd hand drawn some ideas, and then Tamsin took those ideas and made them into a reality on the computer. And then we've passed this file between us, and we were kind of sketching onto it.
Do this.
I'm more comfortable with pen and paper. Tamsin's far more technical than me, so that often if there's something I can't, I say, I don't know how to do that, and she can just make it exactly how I was imagining.
Yeah, on the computer.
Yours, I think Birch's was more mine.
Yeah, I think it was my idea. It was I was pushing this idea at you.
Yeah.
It was called Birch Trees even before it was anything. It was like this idea of birches. And the trunks against the background. Yeah, and then all
anything that's based on the vortex and tourbillon and tentacular spectacular, those are all.
They were. Vortex was always when Arthur was a newborn, because I sat in this rented flat that we were having pre-houses with a laptop balanced on my knee, a 3-week-old baby plugged onto my boob, and I was using that terrible little finger mousey thing that I can't stand on the laptop, and I did it all like that, and it was inspired by bubbles in the washing up bowl. I've always had a dishwasher. I think it's saved my marriage. It's how we had a successful marriage. Neither of us like washing up. But when we were in this flat, this tiny, pokey rented flat with 2 children and a newborn, there was no room for a dishwasher, and I was washing up, and obviously those bubbles inspired me. And for me, that's very much is Arthur for me, that rug, and it's very precious in that way.
Oh, that's lovely.
So,
yeah. But then when you look at all of our designs, and you look at our initial sketchbooks or the things that we passed, you can see.
Okay, what did happen?
Oh dear.
Should we leave that outtake?
I think we should just. Shall we just carry on?
Yeah.
Are we still on the screen?
Yeah, we're still on the screen.
There's definitely we come back to these same kind of core concepts, and you can see them dotted around the.
Yes.
And there is something very personal about what we design, like Winter Hill and Charters Moss. Winter Hill is the view that way, Charters Moss is the view that way, and everything is sort of inspired by where we both live and experiences we've had. I don't think we could design something that didn't feel quite us.
And I think that goes back to, I think back in our early days we were given a design that we were toying with weaving, and it just felt really wrong to us because it was nothing to do with us and what we liked and what we understood and what we knew.
Yeah, it's hard to feel authentic about something that isn't rooted in who we are.
Yeah, it is.
And our experiences. And so in fact that might be a good jump to Miranda's question about was running the group exclusive. We had a group exclusive wrap where we asked people to come up with their own designs.
Yeah.
Was that fun or was it just work?
So it was interesting. I think we both felt a bit odd working with somebody else's design. There was a lot of work in it because it wasn't somebody didn't give us a design and go, here, this is a design that's ready to weave. There's an awful lot of work that goes in around that. So
the initial image is the starting point, isn't it?
And it's how it's going to look woven up and which elements work and how it's going to work as a weave. And there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not as simple as like producing a photocopy of your drawing. I think that camera's going to fall off again. It just suddenly.
Did it say?
It just went.
I've had enough.
Right.
We need some blue tack or something. Or to not. The camera is balanced on a box of
soldiers.
Small army soldiers, little plastic men.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I think that the design that was chosen by the group was definitely something that felt like it fit with our company.
Yeah, and we talked about doing a murmuration. We talk about a lot of designs.
Yeah, or the moon is something that would.
I've got something I'm working on with the moon, and I think I've cracked it in my head.
Yeah.
So.
But there are, and there's also there's another one, about designs somewhere. It says, here we are. Back to Nicole. Have you ever created a design which has had to be scrapped for whatever reason, wouldn't look right, couldn't weave, etc.? And if so, what was it of? We were having to think about this. We haven't really got anything that has
got that far.
That's kind of got that far and then been scrapped. We have some things that sit in the bubbling melting pot for a long time, or that
Winter Hill did, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was woven as a prototype, and then. You weren't happy with it. You worked away at it.
Yeah,
and,
it's had
the
lots
proportions changed.
Yeah. Or there are some ideas that we go. There's a crystal of an idea, and then it sort of grows into something that's quite far from its initial starting point, but it still has that feel. Or two designs get merged into one. So there's lots of ideas that are constantly on the go. Designing is the thing that we love the most, and it's the thing that we have the least. Yeah. And so it is. There are some things like the geode. I've been working on that for a long, long time, and then suddenly the right moment came and went. And then
it was really quick. It was quite easy it from that point. So.
Exactly. But it was nothing. I've got another one that's bees that just hasn't hit that right point yet.
Yeah.
And actually, the history of it is quite interesting to see how it's moved, but I don't know when it will be ready. It's just, it's magic.
It is.
Yes. Oh, Miranda says, I remember Tamsin really liked the viscose birches prototype, and she did.
I really do. I still really like it.
Yeah. Any hope for recreating that feel, or even another dryad-like weft?
Well, we're going to go weft shopping for the Black Walk. We like weft shopping. That's really good fun. Absolutely, I'm going to be championing the another 50% viscose, because the thin viscose of Vega is amazing. I've said this 100 times, but I can get a size 7 in my handbag and I can carry my 4-year-old with it comfortably, and to me that's magic. But also, conversely, the thick Dryad marshmallowiness was just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, I prefer that. I like texture and
it was so pretty. That slubby. So we're going to go and see if we can get hold of some more of that. It's been quite difficult to get hold of. That's why we haven't just done loads and loads of it. But we're going to go weft shopping and see what we can dig up from our very exciting weft supplier.
Yeah. Oh, it's an experience.
It is.
Right, we had 3 people, Laura, Erin and Nicole, all basically asked the same question, which is, what are your favourite designs, colourways, personal favourite wraps, and why? Oh, you can start.
Okay. I think my favourite design is birches. I think it is. I don't think you knew that.
No, I didn't
know
that.
Looking at what I keep, I've got my Grisdale Birches bag, which I absolutely love. I think I find birches really enigmatic with how it looks when it's wrapped, how the design changes, how big does it peep out, and I really, really like that. I always want to like Star Map more than I actually do.
It's just so, I think it's so personal to us, isn't it?
It is. And it's when you've worked with something so much, you kind of lose it.
And it's a little bit the glue that bound us together, isn't it? It was that kind of the building of Star Map and Seafoam, and those designs sort of are also linked into how the company
and all the emotions and all that we went through to get
precious.
To that point. Yeah.
That's the problem I have. That I remember, like you said with Arthur and Vortex, I remember what I was doing as I designed things, or what we were doing when we had these different conversations, and they're so precious. It's
funny,
and they're so built in with our families and which kids were born when, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. So my personal favourite wrap, I think for quite a while, has been Fantasia Aqua Curves of Pursuit, which it's a funny one. I also have a bag of that. It's one that I don't know, really grew on me, and I can't help but like it. Which I love how it wraps, and I love how the colours flow into each other. Yeah. And the Aqua Warp was never what we expected, or we had a bit of a dyeing mishap. It was never what we intended.
It was a bit too pale.
It was a bit too pale. It was paler than we planned it to be. But still, I'm glad that I love that wrap, because for me that's something really good's come out of it. Yeah.
I'm very fickle. I don't think I could ever pick a favourite. Although, one of my most recent favourites, I guess, is the Bracken Aqua Gossamer. And again,
it's a real surprise.
It's a real surprise. I think that's I love the colour of it. I love the way it wraps.
That's another aqua.
And it is. Ooh.
That's really interesting.
It is very interesting. But the greens in the weft, they're beautiful. And I think I love how surprised I am that I like it so much.
I think that's possibly it, isn't it? It's when you kind of fall in love with something as a surprise. One of the early ones for us with that was Sunset Cyan and Seafoam.
Oh yeah.
We'd imagined it, and then it came off the loom, and it wasn't what we were expecting at all.
No, it wasn't.
And it was, oh my goodness, what have we created?
Yeah.
And then we took the wraps home and started using them, and it was like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. Yeah. And really surprised us.
Gamma Star Map. I saw that cloth first in an unlit cupboard, and it was a mistake of they
got the wrong weft with the wrong design. It was supposed to be bronze.
And I had this shock of going, they've used the wrong colour, and I'm so disappointed. I was going to use that for the birches.
You were going to use it all for curtains, weren't you?
Yeah, I was going to.
Jen didn't think that the Gamma Star Map would sell to anody ever. No. She was just thinking, what can we do?
I thought I'm going to have the website out. I'm going to have curtains in the whole house. I wish.
There you go.
But that was beautiful. But I think personally my favourite designs, possibly at the moment, is Charters Moss, just because it's so personal to me, and it's sort of my favourite place ever, and I feel like I've designed a little bit of me into that, and Winter Hill is it slightly less so. I perhaps like the design a little bit more, but Charters Moss is just it's home in a wrap. Right, we've done that. Ooh, have you made any more awesome wrap clothes lately? Says Charlotte.
Well, I'm wearing my awesome pinafore dress, which Jen is wearing
but it's not
matching
wrap.
Pinafore. Yes, she saw my Instagram post about making it, and when it bought the pattern,
I said, I will also make that. We
like
like
a really nice dress. We do, and I'm going to make another dress. Probably not out of wrap fabric, because this is probably the most expensive dress I own. And I've said to my daughter, who this was a size 7 wrap. She has a pinafore dress with the weft face out. I've said to her, that's the most expensive dress you will ever own until you get married, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm at the point now where Nina doesn't get carried that much, and I am starting to think about how I can repurpose my wraps, and I think I might make more beautiful things. And I know that obviously Juliet at Oak Wren makes the most beautiful ponchos, and she's a very, very talented seamstress, and I think she might be my go-to for some really beautiful tailored clothing rather than my kind of basic sewing. Although I like making them
as well. My sewing's getting better.
Yeah. Right. Oh, so
where are we at? Yeah. So Becky says, I want to know some hints about the geode design, and did you further develop the wood design that Crucible was an early version of? So Jen, you talk about
the geode. The geode design is pretty much finished. I think that we've got one release of it. I think I am going to make some tiny changes to it just to make me happy that you'll never even notice, but I will notice. That was.
So what's that inspired by then?
I printed out some hexagon graph paper, and I wanted to make a landscape that was very geometric. And you know what? It's been going on so long. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
One tiny inspiration, which you perhaps shouldn't even say, was when I was a teenager. I played a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. And there was a level on Sonic the Hedgehog on possibly the Master System, maybe the Mega Drive.
Oh no.
It was
the Master Collection.
Oh no.
I don't know when.
Maybe it was when I confessed that it's inspired by Sonic the Hedgehog.
Right, we've recorded 22 minutes and 30. Oh, it says it's still recording.
Oh.
Okay, it says it's recording. Right.
We are technological marvels. Yeah, so the little crystals are inspired, the geode crystals in there, are inspired by some of the levels of Sonic the Hedgehog where those crystals were hidden. And I just, one of the things that I think with our designing is that we could use lots of different colours within wefts. We could open up the options in terms of cloth design, but we like to keep it quite simple so that it restricts us and it creates a kind of a clarity of design. I think having those...
Yeah, I think it feels like a Firespiral, doesn't it? I think
it does.
There's things where you can always paint a picture with 100 different colours.
Yeah, but limit yourself and it
and it forces out the purity of the design.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted to come up with something that was simple, and that had that kind of the element of a Firespiral, but with a crisper, more.
And that's worked really well with the double cloth, hasn't it? Which produces a crisper weave.
Yes, and So the geode. Yeah, I'm okay with it right now. I like the idea that you can flip it as well, and it has that.
It's sort of Scandinavian, sort of the colours and the crispness. I don't know, Scandi. Is it?
Yeah,
I'm not really into that, but I don't know.
Yes, but I wanted to be quite simple and geometric, but the kind of the geometry that's inspired by natural processes, and rather than.
Yeah, and an actual geode is a fascinating thing, isn't it?
Yes,
it's a bubble of rock with crystals inside it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Right, okay.
So the other question was, did you further develop the wood design that Crucible was an early version of? The answer to that is yes. We are sampling it again. I think I'm happy with it now. It was, there was various bits of it that weren't quite right, and we pick away at things.
Yes. Again, and it's one of those things as well where where what works as a piece of paper or a sketch, sometimes when you then wrap it, it brings
or even weave it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of detail in the drawing on the computer that got completely lost in the weave. Yeah. So I've blown up elements of that to make them bigger, so you can actually see the detail.
There are some beautiful bits.
Yeah. So hopefully we shall see soon when we get a sample off. Hopefully it's kind of ready.
Yeah. Yes.
So.
Here Miranda says, what will the naming conventions be for the double cloth to fit in with the elements in alchemy? Because we have a very scientific naming structure, which is weft, warp, design, and we stick to that.
We do.
We like that. There should be
rules. Yes.
Yeah.
So we need new rules for the double cloth.
We do.
So the rule. Because there's no warp and weft as such, because the double cloth is all weft that you see.
But you still see a little tiny bit of the warp through.
Yeah. So we're thinking that it's going to be a name for the colourway which encompasses the double weft and the sprinkling of warp and the design, either one way around or the other. And we're just we're tossing around some ideas at the moment as to what to call them, because the geode double cloth has been woven on 2 different warps with the same weft, so they need to have names that are related to each other, like day and night as an example, but that we haven't used before.
Yeah.
And so we've used a lot of things before that. Yeah. So if anybody has any ideas, they'll be gratefully received.
But you will be able to trace back the genealogy of these wraps. You will know what warp they're woven on, but that will not be reflected in the name. You'll be able to see that
because it's just a tiny.
Yeah, some of them are woven on the moorland warp, but we won't be using that as part of the name. It won't be a triple barrel name,
because the warp isn't important in the double cloth. Is it?
No, not in the same way.
No,
and yeah. We'll see how that goes, but I think that's where we're sitting with it. We can change things up a bit.
Yeah, we've only got a couple of weeks until we release them, so you'll find out soon enough what we decide on.
Help.
So Victoria said, piggybacking off that, will there be more elements weave warps?
Wraps, yes, there will. Wraps. There will be more elements weaves. Again, it's just one of the things that, as we sit there, we try and get a balance of things.
Based on popularity and what's already in the shop.
Yeah, and what we think will work.
Yeah.
The elements weave changes the colours, and it affects how the final wrap looks as well as feels. So that's one of the things that we consider. But yes, it's a nice weave. So we will.
And Nicola said, how often do your families give you that? Oh, she's talking about wefts again. Look.
I think our kids think that it's completely normal
they do.
for us to talk about cloth all the time. I can remember my eldest once wanting to get me into a different room to look at whatever he was doing, and he said something like, Mummy, there's lots of wraps in this room, because he thought that would kind of
excite you.
Go, oh yes, I will go and see the wraps. And for a moment I went, oh, wraps, and then he went, but they do, and they know a lot of cloth now, don't they? And they're excited.
It's part of their life, and I think they probably think that every other household talks about yarn and warps and wefts and wraps as much as we do. They're pretty surprised when they don't.
No, so I think friends might kind of. I think it's just the glimmer of excitement especially when you see some cloth and you go, oh, that's a herringbone, and they'll go, is it? Yeah. But anyway, yes.
I think it's great that we are still excited about cloth because we are. We genuinely are. It's good. It really is.
Yes. Right, we've not answered this one yet, have we? From Becky.
So Becky said, I've got another. How does it work with new designs in terms of actually seeing them? I guess you use software like for the blankets, but does the mill allow trial weave so you can see them, i.e. the prototypes? And how does it feel when you see the weave? Are you able to watch prototypes being made, or do you only see the cloth once it's finished?
Oh, that's lots of different bits. So we work on a commission weaving basis where we come up with all the designs, we provide all the materials, the yarns, and then we say, can you weave this with this spec? And we make all the decisions, and they go yes, and